and we'll get started. So tonight we're going to talk about damage. I'm going to briefly cover the causes of damage, and then we're going to get into the damage repair system, which is a new system for MONAT. So we previously had a different damage repair system. This one came in and was kind of like the new and improved with some new ingredients and stuff. And then we're also going to touch as much as we can on selling, starting the foundation of your business, how to share value, etc. So, Mom, do you want to start? Do you want me to start? I'll just start with the causes of damage, and I'll let you kind of come
Okay, because
in.
didn't you have a presentation
I
too?
do have a presentation, yeah, on the
Okay,
product.
okay.
So, main causes of hair damage. Chemical, which we know when you go get your hair done and you're coloring your hair, you're bleaching your hair,
And
etc.
remember why the coloring and the bleaching damages it. It lifts the cuticle. You know, it lifts that outside, lifts those cuticle particles up. So when you have to really envision when we talk about damage, what damage is? Damage is the cuticle drying out or being damaged on the outside of your hair, which if that's open, think of a pine cone. When you've got pine cones on trees and you know their things are slapped down, you can't break it. When a pine cone starts to dry out and those parts of the pine cone lift away, they're easy to snap in half, right? Because there's less girth to them. So when Mallory says damage, it's always really in relation to that outside layer being damaged, which makes the hair then susceptible. So
So true. Yes. So we know that that's not news to anybody that when you go get your hair done, you are damaging your hair because of the chemicals opening the cuticle. Another cause of damage is heat, thermal. And I think that there's like an okay and an appropriate amount of heat. Um, like blow drying your hair, for example. I don't think blow drying your hair on a, medium to low heat is actually that bad. Especially with a lot of the new technology and blow dryers out there versus like a hot tool. Mom and I were just doing some research on FaceTime, and she discovered that 266 degrees and above, that's the heat
Fahrenheit.
zone. Fahrenheit. Yes, sorry. Do we have Canadians? Yes, we do on here. That's the heat damage zone. I don't know what that is in Celsius, Erica. Um,
Oh, just wait, I can
but
tell you. I think I've got
266
it.
Fahrenheit is where you start to enter that damage zone. And so obviously heat protectant is extremely important. But the absolute leading cause of hair damage, which a lot of people don't know and a lot of people don't realize, is mechanical damage. So this is simply how you treat and handle your hair, how you brush your hair, how you comb your hair, how you handle your hair when it's wet.
Wet hair in bed, being
Yes,
too rough on wet hair, going outside, going outside with wet hair, especially if it's cold.
bad.
Bad.
Sleeping with wet hair, terrible. So bad. The friction that happens at night with your head on the pillowcase, another mechanical damage situation. So that's why sleeping with your hair in a protective hairstyle, applying product to your hair before bed, like you have a skincare routine, you also can have a little bit of a hair care routine before bed. There's a lot of silk pillowcase. There's so many things you can do to help prevent that friction before bed. And we'll kind of get into that with this product. But yeah, those are the main causes: the chemical, the heat, the mechanical, and the wet hair situation. I'm going to share my screen and share a little presentation, and we will rock and roll with our damage repair system.
And while she's pulling that up, I can remind you guys what we said about the fact that what happens when you get your hair wet is those water molecules are very large molecules and they push up in that cuticle. And so it actually, if you freeze, ice expands. You guys know how that is. If you put something in the freezer and it's water, ice expands. So think about those water molecules in your hair and you hit cold air and it freezes, it can damage the hair on there. So it's what a lot of our products do. Remember, we said Rejuvenique oil, on a molecular level, those molecules are smaller than the water molecules. And so it pushes the water molecules out of the hair, closes the cuticle. And so that's why it's so important to put the right products on after to get that cuticle closed and the water out of the way. So
Correct. Yes. And that just a small tidbit about MONAT product. what's so great is that the molecular structure is constantly going to be pushing, expelling water out. So most hair products don't have a molecular structure that's small enough to actually be penetrating the hair at all. We do. So like a product like our blowout cream, for instance, I had a hairstylist. I was in her chair and she was asking me because she's used Monat and she loves Monat and she actually orders under my account sometimes. So do you really think that it can cut your blow dry time in half? And I was like, yes, let me explain the science behind that. It's because the product is traveling into the middle of the hair shaft, expelling the water out, and therefore you're able to blow dry in half the time. So once I kind of explained that to her as a hairstylist, she was like, okay, makes sense. So let's talk about the damage repair system. I want to preface this with this is not a system I would use for every wash, and it's not a system that I would recommend somebody start their Monat journey with. And there's many reasons why. This is going to be a supplemental system, or you could supplement pieces of this system into your routine. Maybe if someone has very damaged hair once a week or every 2 weeks, or maybe if you have just mediocre damage once a month, you're treating your hair to this type of a thing. So,
Mallory, tell them why you wouldn't recommend. So then as we go into this, they understand
yes.
that it's not
So
the fact it's helping fix your hair. So
right. So this is not a line and not a shampoo in particular that's going to deliver what we need to deliver to a brand new scalp who's never seen Monat. So the main things we're trying to do with the reducing inflammation, the cleaning out of the follicle, the waking up the dormant follicles, getting the blood oxygen flow going, all of those things, this system isn't doing that. It doesn't have the ingredients to do it. It serves one purpose, and that is to repair damage. So somebody really vitally needs a lot of the moisture and the other important ingredients that we've got. This is a treatment line. It is, if somebody used this for every wash for like a couple of months in a row, they would be like, this is, my hair is weird. That's the best way for me to describe it because it doesn't have the surfactants and the ingredients that we need in our hair care routine. And so here, it has 4 pieces to it. We've got a cleanse, the damage repair bond support shampoo, a condition, the damage repair bond support mask, a treatment, which is the bond repair, the bond building repair hair treatment. I got dyslexic there for a second. And the damage repair bond fortifying hair leave-in cream. Now, the only product from this line that I would say, you know what, if you love it, you could actually use it every time you wash your hair is the leave-in cream. And I'm going to talk about all the ways to use that. So let's start with the shampoo. Mom, do you want to talk a little bit about this?
yes, I do. And just so you guys know, I updated the shampoo sheet that Mallory showed last week in Team Surge. I called it Monat Shampoos 101 version 2. So that is updated on there. You may want to take a look at it. But what is so great about this shampoo, and when you take a look at what it does, is this is first, I love the fact it's lather rich. See that up there? Now, all of our shampoos, remember, you have to shake it, mix the ingredients up, get a little bit on your hand, and emulsify it like this because that activates everything, gets it spread out so you don't put it in clumps on your hair. So, this product, this whole line of products actually has some really, really cool things in it because they use one of our brand new technologies. See that first one that's called monosome technology? Now, this is cool. So the shampoo, and you'll notice some of these parts to this line, it's a proprietary, which means we are trying to get protection on it. It gives a water soluble and an oil soluble active, and it puts it on the hair. And then when you comb your hair and you brush your hair, it's released into your hair. So this product, this shampoo continues to work for a period of time. Has 10 amino acids, 4 magnetic conditioners. This is what's cool about magnetic conditioners. Is magnetic conditioners, anything that's dual like that, helps to attract track the moisture in, the good moisture in, and repel the water and the oils and different things out. So when it says magnetic, it's what it attracts to your hair. And then 2 naturally based moisturizers, including a desert date oil. And then you'll see also on there the red algae extract and the black spruce bark extract that do that too. You guys may not have known this shampoo has Rejuva beads. So Rejuva beads is one of our award-winning products. And Rejuva Bees has been one of our mainstay products for a really long time. A little bit on your hand, you put it on the ends, and if you watch this with a split end, it's got that magnetic property that takes the 2 parts to the split end and attracts them. Doesn't fix the split end. There's nothing available that fixes the split end other than cutting it off, but it attracts it back to keep it from splitting more and to hopefully hold it until you can get a trim on your hair. Rejuva beads typically will stay in your hair for a couple shampoos. So that's great. It's got the desert date oil, and this is from Africa. You can see there it's got the fatty acids and the different antioxidants in there. The red algae extract, which helps do a protective shield from friction and breakage. The black spruce extract, which has resveratrol in it. It's an antioxidant. What an antioxidant is if you hear anybody use that term, is in your body and in your hair, you have things called free radicals. And free radicals are bad cells and things gone crazy in the body. So what an antioxidant does is an antioxidant helps to rid your body of those free radicals. So in the hair, what the resveratrol does, resveratrol is the ingredient that you hear people talk about that's in red wine. It's the red grapes. This helps protect from color loss, external stressors, repeated washes. And then you have your vegetable derived keratin. Keratin is typically an animal product. It's a fat. So this is a vegetable based fat that helps support the hair strength and vitality. So great shampoo. Like Mallory said, it doesn't have Capixyl. It is not going to help promote any kind of healthy follicle and hair growth on there. So for that reason, it's probably something. Now, if somebody came to you that had insanely damaged hair, what you may want to do is pair this with something else and talk to them, like Mallory said, about maybe going back and forth depending on what their other need is. Or if they shampoo twice, which would all shampoo twice, maybe using this for the first shampoo. So, oh, here's the statistics around it. And these were from the clinical study that was done before the product was released. And you can see some of the great things. I'm not going to read all the results to you down there,
Mhm.
but it makes hair stronger and more radiant. But the important thing is to see where it says why it works. It makes your hair about 47% stronger because it reinforces the bond, all 3 layers. Now, remember, not everybody has 3 layers. Mallory and I, with our thin hair, only have 2. We don't have that inner shaft to our hair, the medulla, but we have the other 3 layers. And it does help to immediately reduce breakage and strengthen your hair fibers. And then it talks about who's this good for? Damaged. Anybody who needs to temporarily repair damage, especially if you've just gotten your hair colored or something, this may be something great for you, or it's been burnt or something has happened to it. This would be a great option.
Yes. Okay, the damage repair bond support mask. Wait, why is this next? So I have this,
Because we don't have a conditioner. This
but
is it.
this is the,
This is the conditioner.
yeah, okay. I'm gonna kind of flip back and forth. Sorry, I have the order incorrect. So
And before she starts on this, guys, this is very misleading because see where it says it's a building treatment, a bond building treatment? This can be used in place of a conditioner. So Mallory, we'll talk about that now.
yeah, it's weird. It's not super intuitive, the products in this system. And to be honest, I can't think of a situation where I would use the whole system front to back on myself or on somebody else. But I think pulling pieces of this and doing them when needed is great. And I will say the other day I saw a reel from a hairstylist who used this damage repair bond building treatment and put it inside of a toner before putting it on a client's head. So it was toner mixed with this, which again is going to prevent bond breakdown. It's going to preserve the integrity of the hair while you're doing a chemical treatment. So These products are super useful for hairstylists while they're using chemicals on your hair because they're able to immediately or simultaneously counteract some of that damage with this line. And that's what makes this so powerful for hairstylists because when someone's in your chair and you're doing a treatment, you know that they're susceptible to a lot of damage while they're in front of your head, their head's in front of you. And so this allows you to provide a service without doing all of that damage. So I won't go through all of this because a lot of the same ingredients were just in the shampoo, that monosome technology and stuff. But it says this can be used in place of the conditioner. So essentially you would use that shampoo and then you would use this next. And you're supposed to really work it through the entirety of your tresses, focusing on the damaged areas. But again, I
Yeah.
would probably use a conditioner after this if it were me.
Well, and you know what I do? And Mallory and I've talked about this before. I will take this and put this on my hair because if you look at the back of the bottle of this and I think the mask, it says you can actually layer the mask over top of this. And I thought one day, well, if you can put the bond building mask over the hair treatment, why can't I put another conditioner? So this is very runny. I agree with Mallory. It is not enough of a conditioner to use for most people, but I will take it, run it through my ends, and then put another conditioner over top of it without rinsing it.
Yeah, I layer products a lot. Like I'll layer a conditioner and a super moisture mask. I'll do a lot of product layering at the same time and then let it sit for a couple minutes. So that's a good point, and it's more of an overarching topic that we should probably touch on with Monat products is the layering. So yeah, you could play around with this. Here are some of the clinical results. I mean, 100% of people in our in our trial say they absolutely love and would recommend the product. They love the way their hair looks and feels. Agreed, it was immediately shinier. It's
See,
reducing hair.
see the top up there, Mallory, under your instruction where it says
Yeah.
rinse or layer with damage repair bond
Mhm.
support mask.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they can all see that, but it does say layer. So
Yeah. So yeah, it's reducing hair breakage by 97%. Again, it's going all 3 layers deep, which is really important for someone with that inner medulla as well. Um, and it's got an instant and time release improvement in hair elasticity. So the whole line is really working to improve your hair while you're using it and then improve your hair after as well. So it's a continuous effect. So let's go back to this support mask. Mom, I'll let you do this one.
no, I want to do the cream because I like the cream.
Okay, okay. She loves the cream so much. And I'm gonna load my hair with the cream tonight. So the mask, yes, I would totally recommend for time constraint reasons, for efficiency reasons, I would always, if you're gonna use both the treatment and the mask, I would layer them. So this is a luscious, creamy, coconut infused reparative mask that's gonna deeply condition and treat the hair from the inside out. Again, all of the same ingredients, the monosome technology, the desert date oil, the red algae extract, all of those things that we see along with Rejuva beads. So like mom was kind of saying, oh, hold on, I'm admitting someone. Like mom was kind of saying, the Rejuva beads are awesome because they use ionic attraction. It is a magnet in essence, where it's a positive ion and a negative ion, and it is attracting to bring a split end back together. The reason a lot of people love this, even through the shaft of your hair, is like, especially a blonde, I'm gonna have breakage through the shaft. If I'm using these Rejuva beads on my hair after the shower, give it 30 seconds to do the ionic attraction and then styling my hair, it's a noticeable difference in the smoothness. It looks like I have no damage, no breakage. When I signed up as a Monat market partner 7 years ago, this was the product that did it for me because I had just had a terrible chemical service that left my blonde hair literally clumps of it falling out of my head. And this was able to at least conceal all of the damage along my hair shaft while I was trying to regrow and heal my hair. So that Rejuva technology is insane. Like mom said, we've won many awards. We've been published in so many magazines because of that Rejuva technology, and it's inside here as well.
And I think that's one of the reasons why when Mallory said at the beginning, this is probably not the line to use routinely. When they first released Rejuva beads, they used to tell us when you use Rejuva beads, even when you shampoo again, it still stays on the hair. And the more you use it, the longer it is on the hair. And they would say it was not good to overuse Rejuva beads. You can use it too much. So I think that also just verifies or backs up what Mallory was saying about maybe this isn't the best line to use by itself all the time.
Yeah, it just really has to be looked at as a treatment, a supplemental thing, not as a main thing ever. So this is just some of the clinical trial results, 100%, 100%. I love when I see that, like everybody in the clinical trial agreed. All 100% of them said they had stronger hair. It improved the elasticity, which is like, you know, your hair needs to be able to be hair without just snapping and breaking. And that's one of the great things I noticed when switching to Monat is my hair moved more naturally. It was a more natural hair feel instead of like weighed down by stiff things. Um, so yeah, the clinical trials are awesome. Everybody loves it. All right, mom. Here's your Super Bowl.
I love this product. When we came out with this, I was so excited. So this is the leave-in cream. And this is something I use. I know there's something to be said for sometimes the order you put products on your hair as well. And you'll have to, it varies depending on what people need. But this is after I put the IR clinical serum on my scalp. This is the next thing I put on. So I put a very, very, very small amount, since my hair is so fine, onto my hand, mix it up, and just pull it through the ends. I try to focus a lot more on the ends because of the Rejuva beads and the different things on here. Now look at this ingredient on here down at the bottom of that first column that you didn't see on the others. Surface repair technology. So this uses castor oil, which if any of you have watch TikTok or some of the different things about how great castor oil is for the body. And it also has a sebacic acid copolymer in this. So what does it do? This makes your hair smoother, softer, and more manageable. It helps to repair, helps to seal those damaged hair cuticles on there because of color treatments, coloring, thermal styling, mechanical stress. It's got a keratin in it. It's got a plant version of a keratin. Animal keratin's always best, but we are vegan, so this is a plant. And then it's got the same ingredients you saw in the other ones with the red algae extract. The argan oil is different in here as well. I don't think we had that in any of the other ones, but it has the fatty acids and a lot of the different things that penetrates the hair cuticle to give moisture, and it's a good conditioner. My thin, fine hair, I can easily overdo this.
Mm-hmm. A
So be
little goes
very,
a
very
long way.
yeah, be very careful. I would start, especially if you're working with a customer who has very, very thin and fine hair, a little bit on their hand, mixed around, and then just pulled through the ends. But it's a really great product. Now, look at all the statistics on this that people say. One thing Mallory and I are going to try to find out for you, because it's worded oddly here, and it's not something we can find anywhere, is I heard from another Monat person that this has heat protectant property in it. We can't find anything that says heat protectant. Now it says it protects from heat, but that could, like, see where it says ideal for those who want to protect hair from heat damage. Is that after damage has occurred and it's repairing damage, or is it protecting hair from being damaged to begin with? And that's what Mallory and I want to find out for you guys. So Katie is saying, somebody's saying iPhone 502 is saying up to 450. Yeah, what's funny about that? We looked up other products that we've heard that, and it clearly says in the literature up to 450. This one says nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't use this as my heat protectant. I use the anti-frizz blowout cream. So I double up because my hair is so fine, it wouldn't take much for me to get damage. But it is something I want to verify in this before we really tell people this protects from 400 up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Because that is, remember, Mallory just told you, heat damage zone starts at 266 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't have something on there to protect your hair, and you grab that straight iron or you grab that curling iron, which typically most people will put it on at 350, 375, 400, and you're instantly damaging your hair. So yeah. So who's iPhone 502? I wish I knew who that was and it didn't just say iPhone 502.
I'm not sure. Mm.
I hate to refer
Oh,
to iPhone
it's
502. Kara,
yeah.
Kara, yes, now I don't have to refer to you as iPhone 502 user. Um, yeah, you do have to fix that. So Mallory and I are going to do some asking around because it's very misleading on all the paperwork. The others clearly say up to 450 degrees. This one says nothing anywhere, and that scares me a little bit because we don't want you to damage your hair. Although most of you will find that as you use the product for a long time, you should start turning your heat down. I set my straightener at 360 now, and that's almost too much for my hair. I almost need to tone it down from there. So this is a great product, good for
Yeah.
all hair types.
Yes, and
Everyone should be protecting.
that's the thing is like if you were going to try with just like one item from this line, it would be this, and here's why. While you're doing your weekly oil treatment on your scalp overnight, this is a great treatment for the actual hair. So I would just, really load it up on your hair, throw your hair in a braid, do your oil treatment because you're going to wash your hair anyway. A little bit definitely goes a long way. So be sparing at first as you're trying to feel out how much your hair needs. But actually, after today, investigating a lot of this, I went and put a bunch of it on my hair before this training. So this line does have a very fragrant smell to it. Now it's a Mediterranean inspired with notes of neroli, orange flower, peach nectar, wood. It's all natural fragrances. And that's something important to note about Monat. We do not have any toxic fragrances. That's a huge sticking point for a lot of people, and it should be because fragrance is so toxic. It's one of the most toxic things that you should avoid in products. These are all naturally based flower, essential oil fragrances, but I do think this line has a much more fragrant smell than some of our other products. So that's
Yeah.
something to note as well.
Kara, we will get you guys an answer and we'll drop it in the Team
Yeah.
Surge chat and let you know. We'll reach out to somebody.
So just to
We'll
finish,
reach out to somebody
yeah, we'll find out about that. I would use another heat protectant though. And
temporarily until
yeah.
we can find out.
Let's kind of close with just a little bit in regards to sharing the product and sharing the business opportunity. I know we touched on sharing the business opportunity last week, but Mom, I'm going to let you start with sharing the product and sharing what Monat is.
You know, it's funny. It's taken me a while to find a hairdresser down here who will let me bring my products, and I haven't. Nothing has touched my hair but Monat since 2017. So when I show up on my hairdresser, I have two little 31 bags, one with all my styling products and one with my shampoo, conditioner, Rejuvenique oil. And she's so funny. The first time she said, "It looks like you're moving in." You know, I had all my hair products that I toted in with me, and it took me a while to find something. And she asked me a very interesting question, which was a great segue into talking about the product. She said, what would ever cause you to stop using Monat? Because as a hairstylist, she's heard good and bad. You know how that is. You hear the good, you hear the bad, you hear the ugly, you hear the people who swear their hair has fallen out, and you hear the people who love it. And she said, what would it take? And I said, you know, Denise, I have been researching this since 2017, and we do trainings and we talk about this. And I went into the ingredients, and I love to get scientific with people who are interested into the science and talked about the water molecules and our oil molecule and what it does. And she said, you sound very convincing when you talk about it. And I said, I am. And I said, I'm not saying, and this is something you're going to have to say to your customers because people get very territorial about their products. I'm not saying there aren't other products out there that are just as good because they're very well maybe. I mean, the lines change and have come a long way since I started using this in 2017, but I've spent years and years researching this. And so I know the integrity of the owners and the company and the products and the ingredients. There used to be a book published about our ingredients written by Devern Augustus. Now, he hasn't been around in a long time, so I don't know that he kept it updated, but I had the book on all of our ingredients and understood how it was made and why it was such a great product. And so when I'm introducing, I try to appeal to what people want to hear. Some people want to hear the science and they want to understand why would you pick this? Why do you think this is so good? And they love to get nitty gritty about the molecules and the oil. And at that point, if you don't have the let me go get my resources and get back to you later. Some people don't want to hear about that. They just want to hear they're not going to have to shampoo as often, or they're going to not have as greasy hair. And that's then I'll introduce when they talk about oily hair, we talk about the idea that our oil actually helps to heal your scalp and combat over oil production. because over oil production comes from an injured scalp that feels it has to produce more oil to protect itself. So our oil does away with that. You have to understand who you're talking to and what's going to appeal to them. If I take a non-science girl and start talking about all my molecules and all the things I get really fired up about, their eyes glaze over and they go, yeah, whatever, thanks, bye-bye, bye-bye. And they, stop listening. So you've got to understand what somebody wants to hear. What do they want? And Mallory is really, really great about asking the questions when she's introducing the idea. What's a pain point about your hair? What's something you start maybe even saying, what's something you love about your hair? Get somebody talking about their hair. What's something you love about your hair? Now, what's something you would change if you could change, you know? And then it could even be a segue into, if I could help you change that, would you be willing to give me 3 months to try it, or 6 months, or until the first set of bottles ran out? So I think appealing to somebody and what matters to them most and where they feel the most pain with their hair. For me, I was going bald. Surgeries and bad products and 1980s teasing and perms and all the crap I used to do to my hair. I had a bald spot right up front here, and I wore my hair in a pixie for probably 15, 20 years, like 1 inch long. I even took the wall clipper up at one point, the back, because it was so thin and so fine. And so for me, that's what appealed to it when Lindsay Upson, when I first saw her talking about it, was, you mean I could maybe have more hair? Tell me about this. How? So find out what it is they like about their hair and they don't like, and then start to weave a story that gets them to like those other things about their hair.
Something that Monat does very, very well is market research. Monat is 5 steps ahead and thinking about 2035 right now. Seriously. So, especially as directors, when we would gather in these rooms and they would really talk about the future, they would talk a lot about where the beauty and cosmetic industry is projected to be in the next 5 to 10 years and what consumers are projected to care about. And the first and foremost concern people have with their hair is damage. This is not shocking. And so we knew that we wanted to have a very, very ahead of its time damage repair system, which we continuously improve our products. There is no stopping. We might create a product, but that's not to say that next year we won't take that product off the market because we've launched something even better. Where our research and development is so intense. Something else that people care about and will care about even more in the future is having a custom routine. People do not want one size fits all. They don't want to go to a Walmart shelf and pick up something. They want a routine specific for their lifestyle, their hair type, and their goals. And that is what we are providing here. We have such niche products that do such niche things for different hair types that we're able to make a combination and customize an entire routine, and that appeals to people. Something else they really care about, non-tox. We want to get rid of the toxins. People are ditching their cleaning supplies and replacing it with non-toxic options, candles, etc. All the things around the home and cosmetics. I've talked a lot about the fact that the United States does not have a governing body over cosmetics. We've got the FDA for food and drug. We have nobody monitoring the cosmetics that are out there. So as consumers, it's our responsibility to read all the labels and figure out what we should and shouldn't be using, which sucks. So we get to be advocates for people like, hey, I've already done the research. I'm able to give you something that is non-toxic, that's going to eliminate all of that from your hair and skin routine. Another thing people really care about is going green. And that's something Monat's doing really well. Monat has a huge gratitude program, and they are doing a lot with the Go Green movement of, okay, how can we, have as little waste as possible? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but every Monat box you get, you're actually able to print off a label and ship back old empty bottles and products with a prepaid label, and they will recycle things. So they have so many different programs, even for clothes. You can put clothes in your box, and we have a gratitude program where you can.
Oh, they did away with that, Kara's saying,
Oh,
Mallory.
they did? Okay. Well,
Whoops.
let me say something to someone. We'll try to bring that back. We're always looking for the new ways that we can try to go green, because that's truly what we should do. as a company who's being responsible. And it's what people care about in the future. So we're always looking towards the future. We want to make sure that we're providing value. So like mom said, people care about different things. That's why your conversation and your content needs to vary. You need to show yourself using product, and you need to talk about what it's going to do for the hair. One day you need to talk about the science. You got to mix it up, and that's where you're going to appeal to a lot of different people. It's crazy how, someone can be watching me for a while and it's like one piece of content hits them and they relate to it. Like today, I had a girl and it was this one reel that I shared to my story, and she was like, okay, like I'm going to order the oil, and I need that oil because of that reel. And then I was able to say, well, let's talk a little bit more about your hair. And she added the promo sale to the oil in addition. So you never know what is going to strike someone, because people care about such different things. So diversify yourself and diversify your content. And really, if you go into every single conversation before you talk to someone and say, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to help this person in some way, whether that's a self-consciousness with their hair, their skin, their health, makeup, or their life with the business opportunity. I'm going to go in, ask the right questions, find out the pain points, and see how I can help this individual. If you go in with the mindset of you're just trying to help one person with whatever pain point they've currently got going on, that will make all of the difference, because it will shine through. If I'm just trying to make enrollments and you're just a number to me, it's going to be obvious. I'm going to rush through. I'm not going to ask questions. It's not going to be a personal experience for them. They're going to feel that. So if you just go in with how can I help and serve people, because I've got the knowledge, I've got the product, I've got the right business opportunity, how can I serve this person in their life? That's going to shine through. So we have less than a minute. We are going to get cut off here. Any last thoughts, Mother?
No.
Okay.
I got cut off last week, really stupid, in the middle of something, and just stood here like this. I thought
Yeah.
everybody was
So we
gone.
could go on and on about bringing value to your audience, and how to really sell this without being salesy, because it's truly a product that sells itself.